Hey, what up everyone, this is Mondo O'Day, back with another video, and in this video I'll be going over my build guide for Vision. I'll be going over which artifacts I use, which uniques I use, which medallion insignia, as well as go over the power synergies, where I place them, my heroes energies and omegas, power point, not power synergies, power points, and at the very end go over my rotation and kind of give you some tips and pointers as far as how to play with Vision and how to pass Cosmic Trial. So let's get right into it. The first item we're going to look at is Armin Zola's ESP. I'm using this for the damage rating, critical hit rating, and gain 3.5 solar energy when you hit with a damage over time power. Then I'm using Hand of Nimrod for the damage rating to range powers, attack speed, and also recovered 3.2 solar energy when you hit with a solar energy power. Then I'm using Crossbow Medallions for the +1 fighting, deflect rating, attack speed. Not so much for the physical damage, but for the energy damage rating and for the +1 energy. Then I'm using Mayhem Demon Blood for the health, energy damage rating, and then 10 stack to gain +2 fighting and speed. And then I'm using Kevlar Plated Helmet for the deflect rating, critical hit rating to range attack, and then when you critically hit, gain +3 fighting. For the uniques, I use all of his uniques. You can use other uniques. You could possibly use Crossbones Assault Rifle, since Vision or this build is it's mainly range, so he can use his assault rifle. But me personally, I think his uniques, Vision's uniques, are pretty strong as is. So it's really up to you. For ring, I'm using Industrial Seeding Ring. I'm using this for the critical hit rating to energy powers, attack speed, and also for the critical damage rating and health. For the costume, grade 1 through 4, you have it to gain critical damage rating, and for the core, I have it to where I gain 60 increase of solar energy, which is spirit, +1 fighting, and then health. Insignia of Thor, I'm using this for the critical. When you critical hit, you and your allies gain 147 defense rating, and also you gain increase of damage rating. But also this insignia gives you damage rating to range powers and not also a lot of health. So keep that in mind because he's a bit weak, or soft, I should say. For pet, I have it to where I gain 8% increase of base health, move speed increase, critical damage rating, to +2 ranks to area powers, and then +3 fighting. Forge 800 defense rating, and have it blessed to where I gain 200 range damage increase to range and energy damage powers. And then I'm using the legendary Macron Crystal for the solar energy increase, health, damage rating, critical hit rating. Now, for the powers, I'll go over that at the very end, because one of his powers, it does a lot of noise, and it's going to keep bugging me, so I'd rather just do that at the very end. So I'll do backwards this time. I usually do powers, omegas, and heroes, but this time I'll do heroes, omegas, and then powers. So for hero synergies, Captain Marvel for the energy damage, Doctor Doom for the signature damage increase, Hawkeye for the move speed and a critical damage rating, Iron Man for the range power to, the damage increase to range powers and energy damage. Where's that? Oh, Rogue for health on any hit and 1 spirit on hit. Star-Lord for the critical rating to energy powers. Skrull for the damage to rating to bosses. Vision for the ranged damage increased, and then for the 10% increase machines. War Machine for the plus solar energy, +1 fighting, and then Wolverine for the brutal strike and brutal damage rating. For the omegas, again, I use over 3,500 to be exact, or not exactly 3,500, but over 3,000 omegas. Again, he can be strong, but he's a bit weak, so just keep that in mind. So hence why I had to use extra omegas. So let's get right into it. Arcane Attunement, 5 to Doom's Mystic Armor for the brutal damage rating, critical hit rating to energy powers, 5 there. Interstellar Exploration, 1 for the Eagle of the Living Planet for the +1 durability, speed, and energy. Again, that durability, you want that increase. 1 on Earth for the 1% base damage. 1 there for Nowhere for 1% chance to call in support from Star-Lord Ship Millennial. Special Weapons, 4 tag rounds for when you hit with a range power, you gain critical hit and critical damage rating. 1 for Fury's Needle Gun for the attack speed increase and also the cost reduction for range powers, and then 9-eye Pistol for the increase of base to range powers.
What is this new emotion? Could
3
this
to
be
Warpath for the
restlessness?
3 fighting. 2 to Sunfire for the base energy damage increase. Nanotechnology, sorry. Nanotechnology, 5 to spin tech for the damage rating to bosses. Psionics, 6 melt phase for the brutal damage rating. Molecular adjustment and antigenesis, 3 there for the +3 energy, deflect rating, and mental defense rating. And then 2 to exogenesis for the 2% increase to energy damage powers and energy defense rating, and also 2 regenerate 4 health when you hit with energy power. Sorry. And that should be all. Yeah. Now for the powers, again, I'm going to activate his powers, but it's going to make a noise, so just keep that in mind. There you go. So I'll do this fast. So density shift, 6 there. Channel solar beams, max that out. 1 for solar bolt. Solar flare, max that out. Signature, max that out. Power of the sun, max that out. Service of the sun, max that out. Defragmentation, max it out. 1 for AI hack. 20 for overclocking, max it out. 2 to healing, and then holographic manipulation, max it out. So, just to things make it more quieter, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my rotation, and I'll be going over it. I will show you some, but then when I have to, I'll switch over to my other complete filled out powers, because again, that thing's making some noise and it's kind of bothering me. So, alright. So let's get right into it. I'll go from left to right. Solar bolt, channel solar beam, solar flare, surface of the sun, overclocking would be here, but I don't have it here because it's gonna make that noise. Holographic manipulation, solar overcharge, healing nantes, and defragmentation. Okay, I'm showing you my powers where they're located. Now, my first rotation, simple. You want to utilize Service of the Sun. You want to use this because what this does is it does burning and it does damage one more time. Hence why I'm using this particular... Oh, sorry. Let me add these powers. I'm using Service of the Sun again because it does burning and does damage over time. Hence why I'm using Hand of Nimrod for that recover spirits when you hit with... when you use an energy hit, but also Armin Solo's ESP box, because when you activate a damage over time power, you gain 3.5 solar energy. So that's why I always activate Surface of the Sun right away. It does burning and it does area damage. So it looks something like this. See that? So one of the first things I want to do is activate Surface of the Sun. That way I can activate damage over time. See what I mean? Just damage where it's doing burn damage over time. Okay. The second thing I would do is, depending where you're at in the situation, you would either utilize solar flare or channeled. Solar flare is very strong because it does a lot of area damage. This is what I mean. See, it does a lot of area damage. So usually what I do is I do Surface of the Sun like maybe twice or 3 times, then do solar flare twice, and then just do channel maybe twice or 3, and then do solar flare, and then repeat Surface of the Sun, solar flare, and then channeled. Okay, and the reason why I say depending on the situation is because if, let's just say, you're doing Cosmic Trial and you have those Hydra agents, I would definitely utilize Surface of the Sun first, solar flare, a few times channel, but definitely solar flare a lot, because that way you get the massive area damage. See what I mean? But if you're doing a single target, like let's just say Lady Hydra or Red Skull or something like that, where there's not so many enemies, then I would utilize Surface of the Sun, maybe twice solar flare, but use more of channeled. So again, depends on the situation. But my rotation goes simple: Surface of the Sun, a couple of times, solar flare, twice, channel, solar flare, and then Surface of the Sun. Boom. And then once you're low on spirit, just use solar bolt because it recovers 37 solar energy. So keep that in mind. Alright, so that's my first rotation. My second rotation will be using overclocking, using the AI, which is this right here, these two. Okay, and I'll show you with my other power. But before I show you with my other, what it looks like and so forth, which you want to activate, you want to, actually no, I'll just show you what I mean, because this would be more complicating. So, okay, there you go. So the way you hack an AI is simple. You want to utilize AI hack. So let's just say you're fighting, or let's say you're in a trial. All you have to do is use AI hack, point to the enemy like it is, and then use AI hack. But because it's not a machine, but all you do is you do that, and in a couple of seconds, that machine or whatever you want to call it, it'll become yours for you to control. Just like that machine right there. Once you do that, once you have a machine, then you can use overclocking. What overclocking does, let me switch over. Come on, switch it over. There we go. What overclocking does, which is this one right here, is what it does is it makes your AI explode. So when you activate it, the first thing you'll notice is that you'll see your AI that you've hacked actually get huge. It looks like it's overclocked. It's huge. It gets bigger. It's a visual increase. And also, too, when you activate that AI overclocking, the visual on this power changes as well too. It'll change, and then what that does is you have to wake up like maybe 2 seconds or so. Then you can activate overclocking, and what that does is it'll explode your AI, causing quite a deal of area damage. And I'll just show you what it looks like. So again, right now, see, once you have an AI hacked already, all you do is activate overclocking, and then two things I want you to look at. I want you to see how this will get bigger, but also two, look at the visual. Alright, it's gonna change. So here you go. And look, see, it changed, and you can use it. Now you can. You have to wait like a second or two, and then all you do is point to an enemy, and then overclock it there. So almost 1 million right there. And then all you have to do is wait a couple seconds, and then after you wait a couple seconds, it's gonna come back alive, and then it's gonna start doing damage by itself. Wait a little bit. There we go, right there. So that's my second rotation. Would be incorporating that with my first rotation. So my second rotation would be the same thing: Servant to the Sun, Solar Flare or Channel, depending where you're at. Activate overclocking. When it's available, overclock it, and then do a lot of massive area damage. Okay. Now, the second rotation would be, the last rotation, the third one would be incorporating Signature and his buff. But before you incorporate Signature, you want to activate Holographic Manipulation. What this does is a buff, and when you activate this, it increases your damage rating, your critical hit and brutal strike rating, and also your critical and brutal damage rating. So, what I usually do is do second rotation, which is Service to the Sun, Solar Flare or Channel, again, depending where your situation, what you're doing, and where you're at. Service to the Sun, activate overclocking, and then activate Holographic, and then Signature, and then overclocking. You want to do it like that because this buff only lasts about 5 seconds, and you want to utilize Signature right after, and overclocking, because his Signature, even though it's pretty strong, it's a bit slow. So right now I'm going to just show you the Signature. I want you to see how there's a bit of a delay. Like when as soon as I activate it, it's going to like power up and then it explodes. See, 1 million right there hit. So it's a pretty strong, it is a strong Signature, but the damage per second is a bit slow. It does, if you notice, it does take up some time to regenerate that power, then it explodes. So again, I would highly recommend overclocking. Get that overclocking ready. Once you use that buff, use Signature. Right after the Signature is over, just activate overclocking. That way you get the extra damage increase with this buff. Okay, so I'm going to incorporate now my last rotation, including overclocking. So let's go here. Let's go to the Sun. Overclocking, above, Signature. So I just did it right there. Signature alone did 5 million, and then the overclocking did 1 million. So you combine those two together, that's 6 million damage right there. Over 6 million. So again, that's why I activate those those 3 powers together right away, because I want to get as much damage as possible and utilize that buff as much as possible. So that's usually my rotations. The next thing I would utilize is healing and defragmentation. You want to use this whenever, or any of these two whenever they're available. Healing, what this does is when you activate this power, you regenerate 20% of your maximum health per 3.5 seconds. So that's pretty good, and you want that because he is a bit weak. He's not that strong. I mean, he's strong in terms of the damage, but his durability is not that great, to be honest with you. That's why you see me in Cosmic Trial video. You see me, moving around, and then you see me use. I'm trying to use Medkit, but then accidentally hit the store. It's because of that reason. I'm trying to get that Medkit activated, or if this activated as soon as possible. Defermentation, you want to use this because this is crowd control immunity duration. So again, you activate these two whenever you can. And really, that's really it. That's really my build guide for him. He's pretty simple to play with. He is a bit weak. Keep that in mind. But if you have more than 3,000 Omegas, or in this case over 300 to 500 Omegas, and you place him in the right place, you can easily do a lot of damage and have fun with Vision. Yeah, that's really it. This is my build guide for Vision. If you guys have any requests regarding any characters you want to see me do a build guide in Cosmic Trial, please leave it in the comment section below. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment section below. If you want to see new videos of mine, or you want to see more videos of mine, please do subscribe to my channel. It really means a lot to me. Not only that too, it does help out the channel a lot. And that's it, you guys. This is my build guide for Vision. Hopefully this helps you guys out with Vision, and hopefully you guys get a better understanding with Vision. But before I end this video, I want to just say a different power. I almost forgot about this, but you can use a different power. So let's just say you don't want to use Channeled or Solar Flare. You can use Tri-Beam. Tri-Beam is another very powerful power. But what Tri-Beam is very similar to Channeled, but the difference is though with Channel you can move it around. With Tri-Beam, it's a single target only. So I'll show you what I mean. That's Tri-Beam. See, we can't move it. Can't move it. With Channel, I can move it whatever. And so I'm showing this because his Tri-Beam is a really powerful power if you have certain artifacts. For instance, not only does it do a lot of damage, but also the damage is increased by 1% per 1% attack speed. And if you remember correctly, Hand of Nimrod increases your attack speed by 8.4%. So right off the bat, I'm getting 8.4% extra damage just by this artifact. Now, if you incorporate the Omega powers and where I place them and all that stuff, this power can be very, very, very powerful. And so the reason why I didn't use this in my build, because personally, again, I prefer Channel because that way I can move around, and I prefer using Solar Flare because I want to do that again, the massive area damage. Even though Tri-Beam is really strong, but again, that is just my preference. I rather use Channel, move around, and choose I want to do damage, and then use Solar Flare. But you can use Tri-Beam. You can use Tri-Beam. It's very powerful. But again, if you have certain items and you place your Omega certain placements where your attack speed is increased, then I would highly recommend replacing either Channeled or Solar Flare with Tri-Beam. But again, for me personally, with this build and how I play, I prefer using an area damage and then a Channel where I can move around. But it's really up to you. But I figured I'd mention it to you guys, that way you guys are aware of that. Alrighty, and that's it. This is my build guide for Vision. Again, any questions, comment section below. Any requests, comment section below. If you guys want to see more videos of mine, please do subscribe to my channel. I appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot. And that's it, you guys. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed it, and that's it. Bye-bye.